Hey everybody, your favorite half of Stuck at the Kids Table here, Dan. Just to give you a heads up that this episode is loaded with Spider-Man No Way Home spoilers. We were going to give you a timestamp at the beginning of the episode because we didn't think we'd be able to fill the whole episode with an hour's worth of Spider-Man talk, but we were pretty surprised when we saw that we'd hit the hour mark. So this episode is going to be for those of you who have either already seen Spider-Man No Way Home, or maybe you just don't really care about the spoilers. But either way, we just wanted to give you a heads up. You can always come back and listen to the episode after you've gone and seen the movie if you want to be spoiler-free when you go see it. But otherwise, you can just either head into the episode and be unloaded upon with the spoilers and what we thought about the movie, or come back at a later time. But until then, we hope you enjoy the episode, and we'll see you next week for our best of episode.
Wake the fuck up!
Yes, sir. Big podcast today.
Yeah, we got, a week until Christmas. So this will be uploaded. You guys should be seeing this on the 22nd. So we'll have that one more podcast recording next week, the end all be all, our best of the year. But before that, we got this week's episode where we'll cover, of course, just everything we got through the week. And on top of that, of course, the elephant in the room, Spider-Man, came out. I should have a little recording before this where I give you guys the timestamp, and I'll try and put it in the description as well of all our audio and YouTube uploads, so that if you haven't seen Spider-Man yet and you don't want the spoilers, we'll have that kind of in there so you can skip to the point. Or you can just hear about the week, other entertainment stuff, and not get it spoiled, and then you can always come back to the episode and see if you agree with us. But we'll start off how we always start off. Just how's the week been, buddy?
It was a busy one, man.
Yeah?
It was finals week here at college, you know?
Well.
So I just got those finished up. Getting my final grades back, you know how it be.
Sure. Yeah.
Working a lot, getting ready for my first long trip home since I moved here to Iowa City.
That'll be nice. Get some home-cooked meals from Ma and not having to do laundry or work or classwork or anything for a while.
Dude, I don't know, I guess you were kind of always in, like, not far from home.
Yeah.
So, but I've had the experience, I've been stockpiling my laundry to do since, like, last Thursday. It's always a test of how long I can make it. Because, you know,
yeah.
There's like, I'll, like, sometimes rewear a shirt, sweatshirts and sweatpants, obviously, you reuse a lot.
I'll never do that.
The one thing I'll never reuse is underwear, or the two things, I guess, is underwear and socks.
Right, yeah.
Never, ever am going to reuse either of those.
No, I definitely, I'll reuse sweatshirts or sweatpants because I don't wear them. Every once in a while I'll do socks, because I'll wear socks all day at work, and then I'll take them off, like, right when I get home. And then my feet will get cold partway through, like, the afternoon, so I'll put on a pair of socks for, like, 2 or 3 hours. And then I'll just wear them the next day or something. If I don't do anything physically intensive, like I'm not sweating in my socks or nothing. If I'm just sitting around, I'll go, yeah, I'll just wear these tomorrow. But yeah, I think you're definitely spitting with underwear. No, you never want to wear those more than once a week.
Yeah, luckily I don't think that's a hot take. So
No.
That's a relief.
Definitely a common take. Yeah. I think you're right with that one. But
the only one of those I think was even, like, close to a hot take is the sometimes shirts one, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely some people who won't ever rewear shirts, but I'm probably the same way with shirts and sweats and stuff as I am with socks. If I'm wearing them all day and it's an intense day, then I won't rewear them that week. But Like I don't know about you, but I've got a sweatshirt and sweatpants that I wear every time I come home from work. I pretty much wear them like that all week. If I'm not going out and I'm just staying in for the rest of the night, I'll wear those all week and then just do them in the laundry.
I don't know if I'd say I have a set pair for it, but a lot of times, like, yesterday's sweatpants I wore become, like, the next day's, you know?
Yeah.
Something like that. Depending on if I work or not, you know?
I can get behind that.
With retail, it's weird, so you never really know. Yeah, I've been saving up my laundry, bringing home that for big Christmas present for Mom.
There you go. Wow.
You know? And then I think that was about all that was interesting for me. How about you, Champ?
Finally got back to, I guess not regular week because we're coming up on the holidays. I'm sure you've noticed now, working in retail, that once you get to the holidays, there's not really normal weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But as close to normal as you can get after last week's whole like sickness, stay-at-home fiasco thing. I had a full week of work, just one day off this week. I decided I'd go in and help for not a full day tomorrow, but just a few hours. Go in and help out, sleep in a little, and then go in and help. I was hoping for a 3-day weekend next week, but I forgot since the week after is another holiday week. My company has this thing where it's like if it's a holiday week, you have to work a regular work week. So we get Saturday off for Christmas, but if you don't already have Saturday off, you have to work one of your off days that week. So I'm pretty sure I'll probably go in and work Monday, but then I think maybe the week after that, hopefully I get a 3-day weekend because there won't be a holiday after that. Well, places will still be open on New Year's Day, so I'll probably have to go and work that day, and then, but hopefully a shorter day. That'd be nice. Hopefully, I'm hoping Friday this week will be a shorter day too, Christmas Eve, but I have to wait and see.
There's something fun I didn't tell you about this week was so I took off from Christmas Eve to New Year's Eve, right?
Sure. Okay.
And I saw our store didn't open till 11 that New Year's Day, so I was like, oh, I don't need to take this off. But I'm going over to a friend's apartment who is like two-ish hours away from Iowa City, and I work New Year's Day at 8:30.
Oh, no.
So it's going to be a fun drive.
Yeah, that'll be a
that
tough one.
day. But we will survive.
Yeah. Push on.
Exactly.
That'll be nice. Well, week in review out of the way. We'll get to the hefty part of the podcast. Spider-Man: No Way Home. This is your warning. Like I said, I'll record something and put it at the beginning, but this is your warning in the show. If you've listened from the beginning, we are going to have spoilers left and right for this portion. So if you haven't seen No Way Home and you don't want any of it spoiled, you're somebody who wants the surprise of the moment being in the theater, do not listen to the next portion and skip to the timestamp that I give you at the beginning. But for those who have seen it or are not squeamish and do not care about the ins and outs and intricacies of the movie, Spider-Man: No Way Home, for those who may not have known, released this past week. The 16th was the first day it showed, December 16th, through this past weekend. I was able to go see it Thursday at like 4 o'clock. Parker, I'm pretty sure you got there a little bit before me. You went to a 3-something showing?
It was like 3:45, I want to say.
So you had me beat out by like 40 minutes for the first showing, but I was pogging from like the 10-minute mark in when Charlie Cox debuted as Daredevil, because I loved out of all the like Netflix shows they had, I enjoyed all of them, but Daredevil was definitely my favorite. I liked like the villains, absolutely loved Charlie Cox's acting as Daredevil, and Matt Murdock, the I almost said detective, lawyer persona of him. I loved Foggy Nelson, and it's been too long since I've seen. I can't remember the girl that he's into's name. but
Karen Page.
Yes,
I believe
Karen
is the
Page.
name.
and then Wilson Fisk, who is, well, have you seen Hawkeye yet?
Yeah, are we gonna spoil Hawkeye too?
Do you want to?
Yeah,
Don't-
go ahead from here. Skip like a minute or two, probably.
Yeah,
but
yeah. But Wilson Fisk is the big bad. It's the same actor who was in Daredevil. Let me look his name.
the actor's name is Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio. Frio.
Dan, I just
D'Onofrio?
acted like I knew what I was saying. So
Sorry, I should have just gone with it. Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio. Anyways, he was a really good Wilson Fisk. He's in Hawkeye, so I mean, it's all kind of set up where if they want to now, they can make a movie or they continue the TV show on a Disney Plus type of thing. But I would love to see that. But yeah, from there on in, I was pretty hooked. I was pretty sure that everybody who had been rumored to be in it would probably be in it from that point on. And so as you can guess, since they had Charlie Cox, they also had Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. They were both in the movie. I don't know about you, but I loved their entrance in the movie.
yeah, those were such good scenes.
Yeah.
Just like the portal that Ned opened and then like each of them coming out. Because I feel like once you saw Andrew Garfield's come out first, you knew that the next portal he opened was going to be Tobey Maguire. But like,
Right. That's what I was thinking.
it was still cool as fuck.
Right. I thought the first one was Tobey Maguire looking at the costume. I guess I couldn't really. I could tell that it wasn't Tom Holland. I was like, oh, it's a different costume. It's got to be one of them. And then I was like, well, they're probably going to do it again, and it's going to be whoever this one is. It's going to be the other one. I also kind of enjoyed the little kitchen fight scene that they had, shooting webs at each other.
Yeah.
I think probably my favorite part of the movie was when they were all getting ready to. So if you've seen it, and obviously if you're listening, you don't care about the spoilers at this point, but towards the end when they're trying to put all the devices on them to make it so they don't have their powers, they're not evil. At least they might still have their powers, but they're not bad guys anymore. All of them they're getting ready on the new Statue of Liberty, like all the scaffolding and stuff around them, and I just love that part where they're all like talking to each other. That's like
Yeah.
my favorite. I love it.
I like parts of that part. That was actually one of the gripes I was gonna bring up was, I think it's just a complaint I have about MCU movies, and maybe I'm just too much of a negative Nancy, but I feel like homies are starting to speak in like 20% one-liners that are almost always like throwaway, very forgettable.
I guess I can get that, yeah.
And like especially it was like they gathered up and like Andrew Garfield Spider-Man like gathered him up and he was like, "Hey guys, I love you guys." And like I don't know. It was just lame for me. Like I was like, "All right, man."
I get that.
Come on.
I guess they just do it because Spider-Man's thing is kind of quips and being the funny guy and that type of stuff. That's why I kind of thought my favorite part was asking about the clogging, because it all started when they were back in the lab and Toby's just asking him. He's like what is that? He's like, it's my web shooter. It's got my web fluid. He's like, you guys use web shooters? And they're like, yeah. How else would you do it? And he just
That
shoots
part
one
was
on his
good.
wrist.
I did like that part of it. Because I knew when I saw Tobey Maguire, I was like, they got to talk about the web shooters. Like, they
Right.
had to.
Also, Ned talking to Toby about the James Franco Goblin Jr. thing. And
That was very funny. Yeah.
then for like the next 5 minutes of the movie, he's just kind of walking on eggshells. Did you cry during the Aunt May death scene?
No, but I was close, and I don't cry much at movies. So
I cry all the time, and I didn't cry. I don't know why I didn't.
I feel like she wasn't really much of a character until this movie. You know,
I think that's what it was.
she was just kind of there.
I just wasn't connected enough. The reason that I cried during like the death scenes of Avengers Endgame, I think, is because there's been so many movies and mediums and stuff with them in it that you get attached. And it's like, oh, this is so sad. I did cry at the scene at the end of the movie when he finds out he says he's like, well, just make everybody forget about Peter Parker. He's like, if it's the only thing we can do, we got to do it. And
that was a very good way to end it, I think.
It was so then they send everybody back, and everybody forgets about Peter Parker, and he goes into the diner. It's such a cheesy thing. He's got everything written up that he's gonna say to MJ, and I'm guessing Ned too. And then he goes in, and he sees her, and he can't do it at first, just because he's frazzled because it's his girlfriend. He's in love with her. And then he hears them start talking about MIT, MJ, and Ned, and they're both so happy. And you can just, it's where I started to cry because you can tell that he's just like, I can't do it. He went through all that stuff at the beginning of the movie, as everybody saw, where like him being revealed just ruins everybody's life around him, which is how like the whole movie like spirals, is because he wants everybody to be able to like live a life, not attached to him as Spider-Man, and he just can't put him through it again because they couldn't get into MIT before until he tried to jump through all those hoops for him and everything, and then he just can't do it, and he gets his coffee and he just leaves, and that's where I cried because I'm like, damn, like that would be so tough.
Yeah.
He's now pretty much on his own in life. Nobody knows him. Happy doesn't know him. When he goes out to Aunt May's like gravestone, that was when I was gonna be like, did Doctor Strange like tweak anything so that some people can remember? But no. That was
because I like saw Happy there, and I was wondering too. I was like, dude, what if Happy does know him? But that would have been such a weird exception to make.
Right, yeah.
Be like, all right, his girlfriend can forget, his best friend can forget, but let's let Iron Man's fucking assistant boy help him out. Let's keep him around.
Yeah. That was a very good scene, though. I like that scene quite a bit, where it's just pretty much Happy Hogan, who's in love with Aunt May, and now this complete stranger to him.
Yeah. But it's gonna be kind of interesting to see like how this affects like his future crossover into other movies, you know?
Right. Well, because nobody's gonna know him now. Before it was like at least, I would say, I suppose at the beginning it was the Avengers and other superheroes at least knew he was Peter Parker, and then eventually it's Ned and MJ, and then Aunt May knows, and then eventually like everybody knew. But at least at the point where even just the Avengers knew him, he could function as like a superhero and be able to take his mask off and everything. But now it's like nobody knows him, and I suspect since he knows what happens when he takes the mask off, he's probably just going to keep it on all the time.
Well, but I guess they'll at least like know him. They'll know Spider-Man at least still, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe it won't be that big of a thing. Because you think of any of the major superheroes alive who knew he was Peter Parker. There's like what? Doctor Strange, Wong. That's kind of it.
Yeah. Well, everybody else isn't. Maybe they are dead. They're at least out of the picture.
Most of them because all I could think of was like Iron Man, Captain America. I think knew who he was.
Yeah.
Because he was like, the kid from Brooklyn or whatever. I don't know, New York.
But is it Queens? I don't know, it's somewhere. But yeah, it was a really good movie. What did you think of it, I guess, overall?
The big thing, because I didn't watch, or I have probably watched the Raimi movies at some point, but I just like don't remember them. And I've seen Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I've seen the MCU Spider-Man movies, and this was still like Endgame level for me.
Okay.
And one big thing that I want to shout out is Willem Dafoe's performance in this is so fucking good.
Yeah.
It's insane how good he is at playing like this dual personality thing and being like this scared old man versus like this super soldier who's like trying to push Tom Holland Spider-Man over the edge.
Yeah.
Because especially the last hand-to-hand fight scene where it's just like him and or Tom Holland Spider-Man and Green Goblin.
Mm-hmm.
When he like lifts up that glider, that was super fucking impactful to me.
I did think
that was such a good part.
That was a really cool thing that they did with the story, was just about like how death kind of overtook the first two Spider-Men, and they like weren't gonna let Tom do it because what was it? Tobey Maguire talks about how it's supposed to be he's in the convenience store recently after he gets his powers, Tobey is, and a guy steals something from the convenience store, and he's got ample time and power at that point to stop him, and he just lets him go. And then he's the guy who kills Uncle Ben. And so he basically wants that guy to die. He kind of hunts him down and everything, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't kill him. But he still ends up getting killed somehow, and it doesn't make him feel any better, you know? And then, what was Andrew Garfield's was that Gwen Stacy dies. And he kills somebody at some point. I can't remember who it was, he said.
Is it... Was it an intentionally thing that he killed Electro?
No, Electro, sure. He just, that's like the only way that they can get rid of him is that they overload that grid in Amazing Spider-Man 2. I'm pretty sure he said that he killed somebody and it didn't make him feel any better. But yeah, the point where I really thought it would have been more impactful if they just let Tom, when they had a shot of Toby and Andrew watching over the that railing at the fight between Green Goblin and Tom Holland, and I really thought that they were just going to look at each other and kind of give a look that says they weren't going to intervene because it's kind of a choice that he has to make on his own. But obviously, it was still impactful that Toby went down and stopped the glider.
Mm-hmm.
I did think that they killed him. I thought that he was going to die after Goblin stabbed him.
Dude, I was wondering. I was like, what? They aren't going to fucking kill this guy off like retroactively. Like,
yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it would have been really weird, at least like to at least have him up for grabs for other, like multi-dimensional type movies. It would have been weird to take him off the table that quick, but
yeah, I don't. Do you think they'll do anything more with them?
I feel like it's. I don't want to say it's a waste to just use them in one movie, but it feels weird to just have them be in it for just one movie, you know?
I guess, but like...
I think the big thing after a multi-dimensional thing like this is okay, we now have the ability to bring back people like old X-Men actors or like bring in Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, or obviously that post-credit scene we'll talk about with Tom Hardy. They now have the ability to pull in these people, but it's okay. Now when is like a lot of actors, like when do we say this is too much, you know? Like are they going to be able to do this with every single movie now, or is it going to get stale?
Yeah. Because
I assume Doctor Strange, they showed evil Doctor Strange, which made
Doctor Strange Supreme, Dan.
What? Sorry, yeah.
I
should know that I did watch What If, So now you have to watch What If. If I shouldn't say you have to. It gives you more background if you watch What If.
Watch What If, but watch only episodes 2 and 4, aka the only good ones I am in.
Yeah, you hated the zombie one.
I thought it's such a snoozer.
They are making a TV show on it now?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Don't. What a silly idea. And what better shows to make, or what better episodes to make that based on.
Yeah.
I would watch multiple seasons about the T'Challa Star-Lord's heist crew.
That is very cool.
For sure.
Yeah. But the Strange Supreme is essentially he loses his girlfriend in a car crash and is using all of the dark magic and that type of stuff to bring her back. And he's basically channeling all these crazy monsters and does all this stuff he's not supposed to do. And eventually just kind of takes over his soul and he becomes evil and tries to bring her back. And the Watcher intervenes and kind of tries to hold them in a prison between time and space. Which, I mean, it is pretty cool. It's very, very sad, tug on the heartstrings episode, but it's kind of a cool story about, okay, Doctor Strange is this very conceited guy, but does that make him more confident and try to do the right thing, or is he going to use it for extremely selfish purposes?
Yeah, I'm so excited for that movie, dude.
It is going to be really cool. That was the second post-credit scene that you hopefully stuck around and caught if you've seen the movie already. They showed a good chunk of more stuff than I thought that they would reveal at this point, where obviously you're going to want to watch WandaVision because they do touch upon her experience at Westview and the fact that she's kind of altered reality. So I'm sure Doctor Strange will need her help. But I'm not sure if you're segueing into the first post-credits scene here. I was gonna, yeah.
But before you do that, I want to ask you about this second scene. Was it a bit jarring to you that we were just watching a trailer?
We talked about it before a little bit. I kind of like the idea. I thought it was kind of cool. It's definitely like, I could see how it could be jarring, like you say, because most of the time it's either A, setting up something in a future movie, or just like saying that someone's going to be back or something, or B, it's kind of a comedy thing, like the ant drumming at the end of, I think it's the first Ant-Man movie.
Dude, I fucking hate the ant drumming scene.
You do?
That pisses me off. Yeah.
I like it.
Because I stayed there. And it was, I think it was for Ant-Man and the Wasp, because
it might have been.
I wasn't really a big fan of that movie already.
Oh.
And then I stayed around, and that was all I got at the end, you know? So it was like, okay, I wasted, like, extra time on this movie.
I liked it. But you also brought up the point after I said that I kind of liked the trailer about how, I mean, it's probably going to be available within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of grown on me because it's a fucking cool trailer. Like,
yeah,
it's really fucking good.
Definitely. It kind of got my hopes up a little bit because I remembered hearing that it's supposed to be kind of a horror thing, and I'm like, well, Marvel really doesn't have any. Obviously, they do a lot of action and that type of stuff, but I mean, they're probably gonna have a few good scares or some tense moments in that movie. So I think they could probably do it right. I think they could pull it off.
Yeah, I still don't really buy it just because I think that that's the direction, what was his name? Scott Derrickson wanted to take it, who was the original director and is now not the director.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I wonder, because he said it was creative differences.
Maybe
so I wonder
what it was, then.
if that is what it was.
Yeah, he wanted to do more of a horror thing and they said no.
Yeah.
I could see that, yeah. I think it'd be cool if they had some elements, but...
Do you think we ever get an R-rated MCU movie?
Oh, man, that's tough. I think if Deadpool gets integrated, they kind of have to, because he's the merc with a mouth, you know?
Yeah.
They've got to have plenty of swearing, and his regeneration is a big power. So I mean, there's going to be blood and gore along with that. So I think so. I think that would kind of open the door too. I mean, I think there's a lot of cool heroes or comedy types or just more blood and gory types of movies that they can do, especially with what is it? Moon Knight is coming up as, I think that's a TV show that they're going to do, right? I'm pretty sure
it's a Disney Plus show.
Oscar Isaac, but basically to say that there's a lot of sword fighters. Blade with Mahershala Ali. Is it Ebony Knight? Is that Kit Harington's character? I'm pretty sure.
Black Knight, I think, is
Black
all it
Knight.
is.
Ebony sword is his weapon.
Yep.
So just with so many sword fighters and obviously with sword fighting and stuff, with the gore that comes along, I think it could give more deep and better fighting scenes and that type of stuff. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. I also understand that Marvel's got a big target audience of the teen group, and it might turn off some parents if they started to do that stuff. So obviously with their parent company as well, Disney being Disney, I don't think they have too much of a grasp on a lot of R-rated type stuff. So but we'll see what happens. Gonna go into the first post-credit scene.
Sure.
Haven't seen the second Carnage or Venom movie. Let There Be Carnage, I think, is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard there's a big post-credit scene where I'm pretty sure he sees Peter Parker on the TV or something.
Yeah.
So then the first post-credit scene of No Way Home, Tom Hardy is, I'm pretty sure he's not from that world, but he got sent there with the rift between space and time that happened when Peter screwed up Doctor Strange's spell. And he gets sent there and he's talking to a bartender and drinking. And he gets drunk because Venom announces that they are drunk, so you can tell. And then he up and disappears after the whole conversation about the Avengers and everything. And you see right at the end of that scene a little piece squirming around of the symbiote, which kind of opens up the whole symbiote suit thing, which is to me one of the coolest stories that you can have in Spider-Man. The whole duality of wanting to abuse his power and do whatever he wants when the symbiote takes him over and having to fight against that. I thought it was really cool in Spider-Man 3, the Raimi trilogy. So I'll be excited if they decide to do that, but also it would be really weird because I'm pretty sure Eddie Brock usually turns into Venom, and there's already the Eddie Brock of Venom fame, of the Venom movies. So it would just be weird to me if they had Eddie Brock from the Venom movies and then they have another Eddie Brock in this universe it would just twist things up like a lot. And that's the point of where it starts to get too much, I think, for me. Is where it's okay. Yeah. We've got Eddie Brock from the Venom movies and Sony, but then now we've got this Eddie Brock from the MCU who's from this universe, but we've also seen the other Eddie Brock in the MCU universe, but he's not really from this universe. So it's like you're following the string and then it diverges, and it's like, well, this is too much string now.
You know who's fucking it up, Dan? It's Sony.
That is true. Disney just needs to buy them. Just buy them.
They're trying to make their own multiverse with these C to D tier characters, which is not interesting enough. Like, no offense to Morbius. No offense to the fucking Kraven the Hunter movie they have coming out. But, dude, I could not give less of a shit about a universe with Morbius and fucking some other dudes, you know?
Well, I think that's it, right? Is like, I didn't get around to seeing the Venom movie because I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm more of just like MCU and like the big team that they're building type fan. So it's like, is this movie gonna have an impact on the next Avengers, whatever that team name might be? Or is this just like a cool Marvel movie that might have an interesting scene for credits that I might want to see. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not interested in seeing any of those Sony movies at all. For sure.
It's just, I don't know. The first one was good. The first Venom movie. It's not close to a lot of the MCU movies I've seen, but at the same time, I'm not going to say it's bad.
Yeah, it's definitely better than some MCU movies.
Yeah.
I'll give it up for that.
Right.
But like, it's a pretty bland movie.
Yeah.
There's not much in particular that I remember about it.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to see what happens. My thing is, a lot of people want Tom Holland to stick around, but I don't want him to retire because I want Miles Morales movies. Spider-Verse is very, very good, but I want MCU Miles Morales. Like, I want it so bad.
Well, dude, do you like see the interviews he does?
Who, Tom Holland?
Yeah.
What do you
Like,
mean?
almost every time he talks about Spider-Man, it's like he wants, or about acting, honestly.
He wants out.
It seems like he wants to be done, yeah.
I did see, who was it? I think it was Amy Pascal. She's got like Pascal Productions or whatever it is popped up at the beginning and end of the movie. She said they just like renewed another trilogy for him, and I'm like, this dude has got to be getting so tired of. I'm sure Marvel money is amazing, and he looks like in a lot of the interviews that he's done and times that he's talked, he's loved like everybody he's worked with. If you watch interviews from around the time that he did Far From Home, him and Gyllenhaal had like an amazing chemistry, and they loved each other like a big brother little brother type thing. Of course, he's got his relationship with Zendaya, and he loves it's Jacob something, the guy who plays Ned Leeds.
Battalion, something like that.
Sure, we'll go with it. You should have said it more confidently, like you did, and I would have believed you, like you did earlier. But they have a really good friendship. But yeah, it's got to come to a point where you're just like you're tired of doing these action because he does all of No, I don't think he does all of his stunts. I'm pretty sure he had a post thanking some of his stuntmen, but he does a good chunk of stunts, I believe, and it's a lot of acting, and just a lot of stuff. Kind of, I'm not going to say it's the same, but very similar because they're superhero movies. And I did see one quote from him, not from someone at Marvel or Disney, but from him that said he kind of wants to take a break from acting and just start a family.
That's what it was. Yeah. That's the interview I just found was the one where he says, I want to take a break and focus on starting a family and figuring out what I want to do outside of this world.
Yeah, and I can't blame him for that. The dude's he's probably got enough money. He's got his girlfriend, and I know he's got a few brothers, and he's got, his folks are still around, so I can see wanting to spend time with them and just get away from. I mean, you can only get so far away from paparazzi and stuff, but at least not have it be as much,
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I don't know. Because I also think I saw that he was, like, signed on for at least one other movie. So I don't know. It's wacky to me, man. I don't know what he's doing. I don't think he does either.
No. I mean, being so young, I think he's around my age. It would be hard to know what you want to do.
Yeah.
Holland age. Yeah, he's 25 years old.
Jeez.
Tobey Maguire, 46 years old.
Dude, that's one of the most embarrassing things to me is looking up like famous people's ages and having them be like really close to you, and you're like, dude, I'm fucking putting shit on a shelf, Like,
I do think about that every once in a while. I'm like, LaMelo Ball is making millions of dollars in the NBA, and I'm making hundreds a week. So
we're close, dude. We're close.
Yeah, we're getting there. Once this podcast takes off, give it a week or two.
Here's something else I wanted to talk to you about from the main chunk of this movie, Dan.
Yes.
Was this is the main central sort of driving thing is something I've found to be like kind of boring lately, and that's the like is kill people bad?
Yeah.
And I wanted to get your thoughts and see because I liked the way it was done in this movie. I don't know if it's because it was like what Aunt May wanted and he like sort of tried to honor that or what it was, but I don't know. It was weird for me because
there's certain instances I think where it works, right? I don't like it when it's just done in superhero movies to do it in superhero movies. Peter Parker is obviously he's this friendly neighborhood kid, so he obviously like his MO is like don't kill people. Batman movies. That's why I'm excited for the new Batman movie that's going to come out, I think next year. Is it's supposed to be him, he's kind of further along in his career. Stuff is starting to wear on him. People keep breaking out of Arkham and stuff. And so you get to this point where you're like, maybe they are better off if I kill him. Maybe this city is going to do better. There will be less crime. It'll be a better place if I just don't kill these people. Or if I do kill these people. Because the law isn't doing what it's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's the duality where it's, well, that's not what's right. I need to like let the law take care of this. Justice will come eventually. This is what needs to happen. And this in Spider-Man, I think it was better done because he took the life of the one person who like really really mattered, who's always looked out for him, and it wasn't really the justice thing at this point. It was through the whole movie. It's their fate is to die. They're supposed to die. That's Doctor Strange's whole thing, right? Is they're supposed to send them home and they need to die because that's their fate. And he says, well, like, what if... Because Tom Holland's whole point of view the whole time is, it's not my problem. I'm supposed to be going to college. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to be a kid. And Aunt May the whole time is like, well, they're here, so it kind of, like, even if it's not your responsibility, it's the best thing that you can do for them. So it gets to that point in the movie where it's the end all be all. He's got emotions running high. There's one person left. His friends are tangled up in it now, and he's just like, you can tell he's really really emotional during the fight because of I love like the heavy swings and leaning into everything because you can tell he's putting everything into it. And
yeah,
like his conscience gets away from him. And he's literally about to fucking kill him. So I think if it's executed well, like in that type, where it's not always just like that's his ideal, killing bad, so I'm not going to kill. But when there's the emotional part of it, where someone was recently like taken from him, and like especially when it was just they were trying to help and he trusted this guy. And he just like switched the switch went off, and he went to Green Goblin. Because I think that's the whole thing through the movie too. Is he doesn't want anybody wrapped up into it that doesn't need to be. He just wants it to be his fight. When it's just like most of the time you've seen superhero movies, it's just not it. So it's just him like being in that moment now. Like he wants to be out of it. He wants to be done. So he's just going to fucking kill him and send him back.
Yeah.
So, what's your take on it?
I think you're right that it was the emotion thing sort of playing into it that made it interesting for me.
Yeah.
Because I did feel like I really liked it here, but at first when I saw that was going to be like sort of not really the central driving force of the conflict, but like one of, right. I was like very underwhelmed. But I think like when they sort of put it like in the background with this Aunt May type, like after her death and like going off of that, I think that made it better.
Right. I think what else added to it is, like you said, it made it easier because it wasn't like really the central point. It was obviously a big part of it, but the central point is it's all leading up to they are trying to heal these guys and send them back. So they've done everything. They've saved everybody. They've taken everyone's like powers away. I loved that at the beginning of the fight. That was one of the coolest parts. I think is that like they touched upon the fact that Tobey Maguire worked on his own, Andrew Garfield worked on his own, Tom Holland, and like has help from Ned and MJ, but I mean he's never worked with other heroes to a huge extent, especially that have the same powers. So they're fumbling the bag really hard at the beginning of the fight.
Was good.
They're just running into each other. They can't get anything done, and they finally like regroup. They're like, okay, we're gonna focus one and just do everything. And then right for the first part against when they're going for Flint Marko, Sandman, Tobey Maguire is fucking dying. He's like drowning in sand.
Yeah.
And so they get it to him, and he takes his powers away, and you're like, okay, they're getting the ball rolling and everything. So you're at that central point where they're trying to take care of everybody. You've got kind of the side plot of Ned and MJ are trying to close the thing, and they can't. And then they end up saving everybody. I loved that they kind of had the point of MJ is falling, and then Andrew saves her. They didn't make it a huge thing, but it was kind of the same part of where he didn't save Gwen, and he gets kind of emotional because it's like the exact. I'm not going to say exact same, but obviously like she's falling in the same type of motion. Tom misses her, so that was a really cool point. And then once they save everybody, they have Goblin come in, and he's just the fucking thorn in the side the whole movie. And Tom's finally had enough, and he's just gonna fucking kill him. So I thought that was probably part of what helped it too. Is that obviously it's part of his personality is he doesn't want to kill, but at the same time, if someone has been taken from him that was very close to him when he was trying to help, more so I feel like because Aunt May really wanted him to than it being his own conscience. So just the fact that she was gone, part of his conscience went with her, so he had that slip up moment where he was going to kill him. I thought was really cool. But.
Can I walk it back up to a point you said earlier and bitch about something again?
Yeah, do it.
The scene where Andrew Garfield saves MJ, right?
Yeah.
They make him a punchline, which was kind of fucking dumb in my opinion. What did they do?
Maybe I let it slip.
He like saved her, and like he's got like these tears in his eyes, and she goes or he says to her, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then she goes, "Are you okay?" And then they like, "Yeah."
I kind of forgot about that. Yeah, kind of like, makes an emotional moment and then just turns it into a punchline.
Yeah, that kind of goes with what I've just been complaining about, like the general trend of Marvel movies. Maybe I just hate fun or something. I don't know. But.
No, I get that because I remember hearing that one of my friends had that suspicion where they said that might be where the Spider-Men come in, is she starts falling and they do that, and I was thinking, oh, that's going to be an emotional moment. It's going to be crazy. But now that you mention it, yeah, I think that's why I didn't cry at that moment was because she said that. So it's like kind of takes the punch away from it and turns it into something else. So,
yeah.
But I suppose we should wrap up the Spider-Man bit. Let's give our overall thoughts on it. I'll let you go first.
So I think overall I rank this. It's definitely top 5. It's probably number 3 right below Infinity War and Endgame as far as my MCU watching goes. I know it seems like I just complained a lot this time, but like I said, like it got like a very like intense sort of second half to it, and all the villains are great. The one last complaint, why was Lizard here? Was anybody like begging for the Lizard to come back? But
I
like,
think he was just supposed to be like this big brain guy who kind of like sneakily does shit, right?
I guess.
He was just in certain parts. No, but I mean I agree with you because it's like he's just pigeonholed into certain parts. I feel like any of the cheeky things that Lizard does could have been replaced with just Green Goblin, you know?
Yeah. Or even you could have just had like Vulture come back and do something
Yeah.
better, maybe.
I would have liked
I
that
don't know.
more.
Maybe it's because I haven't seen the movies from.
Well, but even then, I was like, when everybody kind of changed form or they come onto the screen, I'm like, oh, immediately I recognize their face. Both the Lizard, I suppose the CG's probably changed so he looked different. But even then, when he changed into Dr. Kurt Connors, when he changed back, I was like, I don't remember seeing this face in the movies.
Yeah.
I don't. And you may use the argument that obviously, like Jamie Foxx and Willem Dafoe have been in other movies, but like I haven't seen Alfred Molina in any other movie. And right when I saw him in the trailer, I was like, that's Doc Ock. If you would have showed me Kurt Connors' face or the Lizard, I would have been like, I have no idea who that is. I pretty much knew that he was going to be in the movie because people told me that it was the Lizard, and I was just like, okay.
You could have replaced him with any other person.
100%.
And it would have been the same, plus you would have given them like more personality.
Yeah. No, I've never really cared for the Lizard as a villain, just like period.
True.
I didn't really care for it.
The only the only memorable Lizard thing I've seen is the one where it's like it's some comic panel. And it's Spider-Man saying, like, you have technology to rewrite DNA on the fly. With that kind of technology, you could cure cancer. And he says, but I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Which is so fucking silly.
I really think that's
very
like
funny.
I think that's one of the weirdest driving forces to have behind you is you're a villain because you want to turn people into lizards. I get that it's supposed to be like the next step in evolution or something. That's like his push for it, but I don't really get it, I guess. But props to Kurt Connors for following his dreams and wanting to turn people into lizards, I guess.
Also, maybe another hot take here, but what was your opinion on Sandman in this movie?
I love Sandman. I love him being in this movie because everybody kind of wants, like Jamie Foxx and Willem Dafoe and everybody, they kind of want to stick around because they're like, well, new dimension, let's fuck shit up. But Flint Marco's like, I don't give a shit. He's like, I want to go home. Yeah. I want to see my family. And that's his thing in the first movie too. No, he's in Spider-Man 3. His first movie is he just wants to, he doesn't want to commit crime to commit crime. He wants to do stuff so he can pay for his daughter's medical bills and make sure that that everybody's taken care of. Because I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm mistaken, I don't know if you remember or any listeners remember, I'm pretty sure he's like running away after he commits a crime and he falls into all this sand where there's a collider thing that gets activated and his blood gets like infused with sand, so that's how he turns into Sandman. And the whole time he just kind of wants to like take care of his daughter and stuff, and stuff gets out of hand, and so he does all this terrible shit. But that's why I kind of liked him being in this movie, is because he's everybody else is kind of this just do bad shit type person, and his whole thing is he just wants to get the fucking block so he can go home. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I didn't really think about, like, the sort of difference in dynamic that it brings in the villain, with like one guy who just wants the box so that like they can just go home, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought, oh, that reminds me too. I thought it was very cool, the scene where it like they're in Happy's penthouse and Peter's like fixing them, I guess, curing them, I don't know, whatever term you want to use. And he's like got the thing on Electro, and then Osborn goes all goblin and like starts like telling him about this shit about like how he doesn't need cured and shit like that.
Right.
That was very cool, I thought.
I think that was pretty cool. They had the foreshadowing where it was like the arc reactor, and Electro was just like, "Oh shit." He's like, "That's a lot of fucking power." He's like, I could do a lot of shit with that.
Imagine if they wouldn't have shown him with the arc reactor in every trailer before this too.
Yeah, that would have been a lot cooler.
For how secretive they were or tried to be with Garfield and Maguire coming back, it's bizarre to me that they showed like the very last scene with Strange in trailers. Jamie Foxx's Electro having the arc reactor.
Oh yeah, so you kind of know that he's gonna be.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you assume he's gonna be a bad guy, but that kind of just pushes the point further. But yeah, I see how like him being with the arc reactor and then that whole scene with him having that thing on him, just kind of like that spot in the trailer where he's got the arc reactor just kind of blows it all away.
Yeah,
because you obviously know he's gonna. But I did like that type of thing where it was like right when he sticks that thing on him, he's already like uneasy about it. He's like, I don't know about this. Like I don't like this very much. And then I think you could kind of tell the whole time that he wanted to do something, but he didn't think anybody else was behind him because he was talking to Sandman, and he's just like, just do it. Everybody take their turn, get fixed, so we can go the hell home.
Yeah.
And then like you said, Goblin starts talking him up, so he's like, okay, this guy's behind me. We're gonna do this shit. We're gonna fuck shit up. And then I also I thought it was kind of cool that he fixes the chip for Doc Ock.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool. Because then like seeing him as like a good guy is very weird, but kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, because it's like that's what he was before. He was this really kind, nice guy who was trying to harness the power of the sun. First for good, but then the arms took over and wanted to kill like everybody. So
yeah.
I also liked how he did like the power of the sun in the palm of my hand thing when he had the arc reactor, because that's kind of his whole spiel thing through the Raimi movie and part of while he's a bad guy in No Way Home. So
I also like Osborn's little line where he said, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Yeah.
Again, that was funny.
He's pretty good. I want to see more Dafoe movies now. And I watched some video where he broke down his career, so I should go look at it again and see if any of his movies look good. But
yeah,
I guess my take on the movie, I enjoyed it a lot. It was really, really good. I think I'd place it the same as you. It's got a lot of star power in it, and there's a really good story and everything. So it'd probably be right under Infinity Game and End War, Infinity War and Endgame. Just because there's so many moments, Captain America lifting up Thor's hammer and the whole squad being there, and of course the snap in both movies, both the snaps, just being really cool cinematic moments. So I think those would have to be top two. But then No Way Home, oh boy, I would have loved to see some Daredevil or some more Charlie Cox, but I also understand that it's a Spider-Man movie. Obviously, if Charlie Cox is Daredevil, then it kind of detracts, I suppose, from the Spider-Man point, and then the alternate dimension enemies and everything. Even though there's crossover with some of the enemies between the two heroes, it still would have detracted, I think, from the point of it being a Spider-Man movie. I did very much enjoy him catching the brick, and then everybody in the room just being like, "What? How the fuck did this blind guy just catch a brick?" I love that.
That was
being good. Just because like part of his whole thing is just all of his senses are extremely heightened, and he's got all this training and stuff. So, I think I just kind of had the beginning of the movie be like I could take it or leave it because it was this whole thing. I understand that them having the legal trouble and everything just kind of adds to Peter's point of these people are getting mixed up in this stuff that they shouldn't be mixed up in, because the whole time he's like, why are they here? They didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. So I can see it adding to that point, and then it kind of allows them to show that Charlie Cox is Matt Murdock, a.k.a. Daredevil. But at the same time, I was just kind of like lost throughout the whole beginning of it. I was just like, I understand that he's been revealed now and there's all this stuff going on, but I also know it's not going to matter in like half an hour when everything's going crazy.
Yeah, dude, I was not a believer in like the first 20-ish minutes probably of the movie. Like I was like watching it and I was like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah, I think I was just like kind of there. It was the scene where it was the same thing I felt like Spider-Man when he was knocked out of his body by Doctor Strange. That was the experience I had for like the first, up until Charlie Cox appeared. I was like, am I really here? Is this really the movie, or am I being punked?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
I also love that scene where he was out of his body and he still had the Spider-Man reflexes.
Yeah, that was sick. I forgot about that.
Because that was my whole thing, was I remembered seeing that scene in the trailer, and I'm like, well, obviously he's going to get the box back then.
Yeah.
Also, they had the Peter Parker moment. Really the first time where they've really shown, I feel like, a Peter Parker moment, where he's stuck in the mirror realm, or whatever it's called, and he's like, oh, math, Pythagorean theorem, and then just says all this other shit, and like shoots all the webs around and does the math and everything, and then holds him there, holds Doctor Strange there in the mirror realm. So I thought that was really cool. I think they need more of that through the movies, because that's always some of my favorite parts, is seeing the Peter Parker geekness throughout the movie, which we also, I guess, saw that when they were in the lab cooking up all the cures and stuff. So I like seeing that stuff. But I think we're in agreement here that it's a top 5 at least Marvel movie, probably top 3, just below Endgame and Infinity War. And I guess we'll see after Multiverse of Madness in the next few movies that they have, where I'm sure they'll have multiverse type stuff. See if it holds up that ranking, or if it'll jump around on the list.
All right, well, we're at an hour already.
We are, yeah. I can't believe we really did it. We talked about Spider-Man for like 40, 50 minutes.
I was wondering if I was like, man, I think I have enough to say to make this like the whole topic of today.
Maybe we'll just call this the Spider-Man episode, and I won't have that little timestamp at the beginning. I guess you can listen for like the first 5 minutes if you want to hear us talk about our lives for the week, but other than that, I think it's all kind of a spoiler cast.
Yep.
But I guess if you weren't here for you were probably here for spoilers if you're still here right now. But next week will be spoiler free, most likely. I think we'll try and keep it that way. We'll have our best of episode where we'll cover movies, music, TV. Video games, and then just kind of our favorite moments that happen through the year. I'll probably share my Spotify Wrapped. I know you probably won't, but
no shot.
No shot. Did you come any closer to the site of Gumby this past week?
Get out of here, Dan. There's no chance.
I just wanted to see if anything had changed. Just saying, if Gumby ate spinach, he'd probably be swole too.
Dan, this is a long chat that we're gonna have when I come back over fucking Christmas. We're gonna bring this up at our family Christmas.
I hope you do. We can see where everybody stands.
Yeah, we can see that everybody stands on my side.
All right. Well, we'll see what that comes to, but next week's episode, a perfect time to pull up the episode on the sound bar, the smart TV, or whatever, and listen to our best of picks. See who agrees with us, who differs, hopefully, I'm sure listenership might not be huge this first week with this episode, but if you got around to seeing Spider-Man and decided to listen, we sure appreciate it, and we'd love to hear where you stand. I think we're gonna get some social media set up here, hopefully before the end of the year. See what we can get set for Stuck at the Kids Table and start getting some feedback on some episodes. But thank you for all the listenership this week, and I think we all good to wrap up here.
One more shill to do, Dan.
Oh yeah.
So on Apple Podcasts, there was always a rating feature where you could like rate podcast, help
Sure.
us out that way. And that has just been added, I believe it has been added at least, as a feature to Spotify as well, if I remember correctly. So no matter what you listen to us on now, you have no excuse not to rate us 5 stars, give us a like, whatever it is,
Oh, beautiful.
It all helps us.
You can always give us a like, give us a rating. Of course, we would love 5 stars, but give us your honest opinion. We can take it, I think. Also, you can subscribe or follow so you can see. You can always get a notification every week. Of course, it's always Wednesdays, but it doesn't hurt to get that little ring-a-ding-ding on your phone or whatever device that you listen to us on, so you can see when the device or the episode for that week gets uploaded, and you can listen to it on that device. That way you get that notifications if you subscribe or follow. And of course also a like or a rating, as we had stated, goes a long way.
All right, now we're good to wrap.
Yeah. I think that after that final shill, I think that'll do it for the Spider-Man cast, our podcast for this week. Like I said, next week we'll do our best of. So a big one might go a little long on that one. Do a little special episode for you for your Christmas, but that'll do it for this week. And tune in next week for that big best of episode.
And have a Merry Christmas.